Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today we are going to play around with a cute little bundle of products. It's called the Poppin By Bundle. And so I have four different card ideas that I will walk you through today in this video, but then I have just a variety of other card ideas that I'll share with you. So I just did a video on Wednesday with this particular bundle that had just a really fun little diagonal design. So if I didn't link to it in this description, I'll get it for you, but it is out on my YouTube channel and on Facebook. But I had so much fun with this bundle, and this was one of those bundles where I kind of looked at it and went, am I interested or not? um, but once I started playing with it, it was really a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoy the card ideas that I'm going to share with you today. But this is the bundle. So when you first look at it, it's not one that like jumps off the page at you. You just kind of like, oh, that's different. But once you see how cute these little cards are and how fun it is to put it together, you'll see what I'm talking about. But these are some of the dies that come in this set, and there's these particular dies, these little dies right here. Actually, I'm going to show you that quick. They actually cut and they etch like this little design into the popcorn kernel. So you just layer these two dies together and it just puts that fun little detail into the kernel. So that's the bundle, and that's the one that we're going to play with today. So here are three of the cards that I'll walk you through, and the fourth one looks like this. So there's just lots of fun things that you can do with it. And this is one of the online exclusives that was launched a little while ago. So I haven't played with this since it was launched. So I'm pretty excited to share these with you. So let's just start with this one. So I have, let's see, I have a bunch of stuff here. What we're going to do is we're going to start by actually using this little popcorn image. So this is like the popcorn bucket image. And of course, you can see the little popcorns up at the top. We're actually going to use that on this piece of red cardstock. Let me grab some scrap paper here. And we're just going to stamp like a little bit of a background. One of the things as I was playing with this, I kind of wished that this little popcorn part was a separate piece, but that's okay. I made it work. So this is a 2 1/8. What is it? 2 1/8 by 5-inch piece of just real red. So I'll tell you the colors I'm using. I'm using Darling Duckling, Early Espresso, and then I'm using Real Red. So those are the colors that I'm using, but I'm also using black cardstock. So you guys know me. I like to stamp my greetings using Early Espresso. That's just a weird thing I do. So let's grab this Real Red, and we're going to do some stamping on this cardstock. So what I did is basically just tried to ink up like this top part with this little popcorn on it. And then I just kind of went around like the outer edge and just stamped that little popcorn just to give me, just kind of a fun little design on the outer edge. So we'll just go all the way around. And so I'm using Real Red ink on the Real Red cardstock. Let's add a little bit more here. This one, so this is going to be like the outer edge. So we're going to go in just a little bit more, because what I'm going to do, I'll show you what I'm going to do. This little piece, this little black piece is going to it's going to overlap onto this red piece on the cardstock. So I'm going to come in and stamp kind of closer to these, if that makes sense. So let's see, how do I want to do this? I'll go right about here, I guess. So it'll look a little weird, but you'll get the idea once I put the black cardstock on there. get a little bit more ink here. And then we'll add a little bit more up here. And that probably should do it. Okay, so let's put this card together. So it looks a little weird, but you'll see what I'm doing in just a moment. All right, so let's bring the card back. So this is what the card looks like. So I just have a piece of white cardstock that I'm using for the base of the card. And it's just your A2 size card. So it's just the 5.5 by 8.5 scored in the middle at 4.25 inches. So that is my card base. And then I decided to use some of this flower paper. And now I'm going to forget the name of it. I'll have to get the name of it for you. But on the back side of this flower paper is this really fun little grid design. So that's what I'm using for all of these cards. That's the paper I'm using. So I started with a 1 3/4 by 5.5 inch piece. So that's just going to go down this right side. And if you don't have this particular bundle, you can certainly use these layouts with any supplies that you have. All right, let's put this on here. So we'll adhere this to that right side. And then this piece that we stamped is just going to get adhered right next to it. Maybe. Maybe if I can get my glue to work. All right, so we'll just adhere this next to it. And then this black piece is actually just going to go over the top, not quite that far. Oh, I probably should have stamped it a little bit more. Well, that's all right. We'll just cover that up. Originally, I thought I stamped it close enough, but I guess I didn't. So let's see. This is a 2 1/4 by 3 5/8. So this is 2 1/4 by 3 5/8. I thought I stamped those over far enough, but it'll still look nice. We'll just cover them up. And we'll put that right there. So that's going to be the basic layout. Okay. And then I have a little square shape that I used the stylish shape size to cut this out. So this is about 2 3/8 by 2 3/8 little square shape. But what we're going to do is let's move this out of the way. We are going to stamp. We're going to stamp this image again. So let me clean it off. And we're going to create the popcorn in the back. So I'm going to use some Darling Duckling. And we're going to stamp this image in the Darling Duckling right on this square shape. And now we can decorate this. So this is where this little popcorn thing comes alive. So in the bundle, there's a variety of different dies that you can cut out. So you can cut out some glasses and some little shoes here. So I cut those out of black cardstock. So that's what I have here. And then I want the bucket for the popcorn to be red. So I don't want everything to be yellow like this. I want the popcorn to be yellow and then the bucket to be red. So you'll have to stamp the image in Darling Duckling first, or whatever yellow you're using. And then you'll have to stamp it again using red. And then what I did is I just took a scissors and I just cut along the top of this, just kind of around these little scalloped pieces. And I just cut off that red popcorn because I don't want red popcorn. So that gives you the little bucket. And then you can put this right over the top of your stamped image and you have, the yellow popcorn in the red bucket. But before I put that on there, I'm going to add these little pieces. So the smart thing to do, which I didn't do, but the smart thing to do is cut all these little pieces out of black cardstock, but put some adhesive sheet on the back of the black cardstock so that when you cut them out, you already have adhesive on there. But if you don't do that, like I didn't do that, then you can just use, a little bit of liquid glue. So I'm going to add the little boots or shoes down here. And the take your pick tool works really good for doing this. So you just kind of hold it there and push down and get those little guys on there. Now, the nice thing about the liquid glue is you can kind of scoot these around a little bit. But that's the basic little design. Isn't he cute? I just think he's so cute. Okay, so now we're going to add, let's see, we're going to add some little dimensionals on the back. So I'm just going to cut a couple of these. I can get them off here. We'll put some right on the little shoes. And then we'll add a couple little dimensionals on here. So I'm just going to pop this up because I want this popcorn bucket to be have a little bit of depth and dimension. But you could just glue this right down, to that image. All right, so let's get this on there. We're just going to go right over the top. And then you get just a really cute little bucket of popcorn. All right, so let's finish putting this card together. So this is just going to go right on the card front with some liquid glue. Isn't he cute? I don't know, he's just so cute. Just an adorable little image. So we'll add that. And then we'll add our little greeting. So the greeting I just added on a 1/2 inch by 3. This is like 3 1/4 inch piece of white cardstock. So I did some of the stamping ahead of time to save us a little bit of time in the video. And then this is just going to go right across here, underneath there. And then we'll just add some little gems. So you can use the in color gems, the Darling Duckling in color gems, or you can use these other gems too, these kind of flatter gems. But I'm going to use the in color ones. And we'll just add a couple on here. All right, so that is the first one. Isn't he cute? It just makes a really cute card. I just kind of thought, this would be kind of like a fun little, you could make some fun little like gift baskets, like movie gift baskets or something with this particular bundle. I just thought it was kind of cute. All right, so let's do this next one. And it's the same kind of thing. So let me grab my card. Where is my sample card? So here's what the card actually looks like. And so this time I started with the real red for the base of the card. And I accidentally got carried away and just adhered my pattern paper to my cardstock right away. I guess I was not paying attention. But this piece of pattern paper is 3 3/4 by 5. So I just put that on there right away. And then I have a piece of black cardstock, which is 2 1/2 by 4. So this piece is basically just going to go off that right side. So we might as well just add it right away. So this is just going to go right off this side, just to kind of break up the pattern paper a little bit. And then we're going to do something similar, except for we're going to use a circle shape. So the circle shape is 3 inch in diameter, and I just used the stylish shapes dies. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to stamp this. And then we'll add our little pieces here. I gotta separate them. So we'll just cut this off again. And like I said, it's pretty easy to just kind of go around this and cut these little red pieces off. So we'll cut that off and then we'll glue our pieces together. So do you guys have this particular bundle? Like I said, I've had it for a little bit, but I haven't done anything with it until recently. And then recently I created lots of different designs. I think I have, let's see, 6, 10, I have 14 different designs actually to share with you guys today. Lots of different cards. Obviously I had fun with this bundle. Let's put this on here. Put these little shoes over. Get that. Oh, I'm getting glue on my finger already. All right, so there is that one. And let's add some dimensionals. Oh, you have it, Tony. Yeah. Yeah. So Tony mentioned she made some little boxes to put microwave popcorn in. It's just a cute little set to decorate up little gifts, for gift giving. So that's what I was thinking too, is, making like a little basket with popcorn, microwave popcorn, and some other just fun stuff to put in it. So, all right, let's get this little guy on there. All right, so put this over the top. And then we'll bring this back and put our card together. So we'll add some of this. And we'll offset this a little bit. So I like to use, layers. And so I like to just add a couple little simple layers to my card, and it just really brings it alive. Well, and these glasses and these little shoes bring that little popcorn bucket alive, I guess. So let's see, we're going to put this right about here. So that's my greeting. So it's just 3 3/4 inches long. It's a 1/2 inch wide. And then I just created some of these little popcorn kernels, except for now I lost the other one. Where did it go? Here it is. And then I just die cut them from some Darling Duckling cardstock, and then just kind of popped them up on the card. So like I showed you in the beginning, the die actually puts these little details right into those little kernels. So that is card number 2. Pretty simple. And I probably should, let's see, did I put anything on the inside? I just did some pattern paper on the inside, but I think on this other one, let's see. On this other one, I stamped and put another, little bucket on the inside of this card, along with some pattern paper. So you can decorate the inside and the outside. All right, so let's look at this next one. So this next one, I was just kind of I did some cards with a diagonal design, and then I decided I would kind of use that similar theme and just create a little diagonal piece to decorate, up my cards. So I just have a couple different layers here that I'll show you. So I started with some real red cardstock, and then I have a 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece of black cardstock. and then a 3.5 by 4 3/4 inch piece of white cardstock. So that's the basic layers for the card. And then I just cut a 3 by 4.5 inch piece of pattern paper, and then I just cut it in half diagonally. So it was 3.5. What did I say? 3.5. 3.5, right? Three. No, 3 by 4.5. And I just cut it in half diagonally. So I used 1/2 for here, and then we're going to use this other half for here. So let's go ahead and add our little greeting. So again, I use early espresso because I like it. It stamps a lot better than my memento pad. So it's probably just a user issue. I can't stamp very good with my memento pad. But you can definitely use black ink instead of this. I should probably practice here. Let me just practice. Make sure I can stamp this straight. All right, so we'll stamp that right on the pattern paper. So let's put all of these together. So you can use this diagonal design with any pattern paper, obviously. It's a pretty simple way to use your pattern paper. So let's add this. And then we'll add this one right to the card front. All right, so now it's just a matter of decorating this. And I have similar die cut pieces that I created with the bundle. So I have, let's put our little popcorn bucket together. So this time, what I did is I stamped this image and just cut it out with one of the dies from the set. So you can cut this entire popcorn bucket out with one of the dies. So I stamped it in the Darling Duckling. And I'm just going to adhere the red one. So I did the same thing, stamped it in Darling Duckling, stamped it in red. Although this time I'm just going to glue it directly to this instead of popping it up with dimensionals. So we'll go ahead and add these other pieces. There we go. We'll add that. So I was going to put all these together, but I wanted to really show you how I put the little popcorn bucket together and how I added the different pieces. So we'll add that. And then this time I'm going to pop it up. So we are going to pop the entire popcorn bucket up. So with the other two, I stamped it on, I stamped the image on the white cardstock and then popped up the red piece. This time we're popping up the entire thing. So, and I'm just snipping my little dimensionals here, snipping them into little strips so that I can use them down on the bottom for the feet. All right. Oh, there's a good tips. So Beth said she uses Memento ink on an empty white stamp pad. Oh, I haven't tried that. Yeah, I really struggle with the black. That's why I use early espresso all the time, because it does kind of look black. So, all right, let's add this guy on there. And there's also this little film strip die. Unfortunately, it doesn't cut a big long film strips, just cuts individual ones. So you have to cut each individual one. But I'm going to use I'll show you how I use my glue to do this. So I have these little film strips here, and what I do is put some glue on a scrap piece of paper, and then I take my sponge. You can see I use it. I use it quite often because I always forget to put adhesive stuff on the back of my cardstock. So you just kind of blot it around on your small dies like this, the die cut shapes, and then you could just stick them down. So if you forget to use that adhesive sheet on the back of your cardstock before you die cut them, then you can just sponge some ink on there, some glue on there. But it is a little bit sticky and messy, so that's why I like to use the adhesive sheets. All right, so that's basically what that is going to look like. And then we'll just add these little popcorn pieces. So I have 2 of them that I cut out, and we'll just see how they go. Oh, did I grab the wrong ones? Well, we're going to use this one here. And then we'll use this one up here. And then you can just add whatever gems you want. I just added a few of these little gems in between kind of all this stuff. And we'll just add maybe we'll use a bigger one. We'll just add a bigger one up here. All right, so that is card number 3. Pretty simple. And then on the inside, I did a little bit of stamping and added that other piece over the top, the red piece over the yellow one, and just a little bit of scrap paper. All right, so that is card number 3. And then the last card idea, I was just kind of using up scraps. So I thought this would be kind of a fun little way to use up scraps. So for this one, let me grab this. Oh, my dog's going to start barking now. I hope not. But this is a 1 3/8 by 3 3/4 inch piece of red cardstock. And so basically we're going to do the same thing as I did at the beginning. We're going to stamp this little image on there. So let me clean it off quick. And we'll grab my red ink. And let's go ahead and stamp this around kind of the outside again. So we'll just go around. Oh, there we go. And we have that one and one more. So it does kind of make just a fun little background design, because I needed something else since I'm only working with, you know, the black and yellow and red. I needed another design to go with this card, so that's why I stamped those that little image like that. All right, and so then I'm going to grab my designer paper. So I have a 2 by 3 3/4 inch piece of pattern paper, and I'm again going to stamp a greeting on it. So let's get that up towards the top. So those are the first 2 pieces. And then I have a small piece of white cardstock. And so this piece is 3.5 inches long, and it's 7/8 inch wide. So not quite a full inch. So it's 7/8 inch. And this is where we're going to add those little film strips. So here is where you'll definitely want to use, so what do you call it? The adhesive sheets, because it'll make it go a lot faster. But we're going to do it this way. We're going to do it the hard way. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to add some glue here. And basically what I want to do is run these across this white strip. So I'm going to take my sponge and we'll add some glue to this. And I want it to hang off a little bit, and we'll just trim it. So we'll have it hang off. Now, like I said, if you had the adhesive on the back of this, it would go a little bit easier. We'll do it the hard way. I always have to do things the hard way. Let's add some more. And you're basically going to take these and just line them up next to each other and run them across this white piece. So it's not too terrible to do it this way, but it's a lot easier if you already have adhesive on it, right? And then this last one, we'll get a little bit more glue here. This last one, we only need it on that one side. And it's all over my finger. All right, and then this one's gonna go right up against there. All right, let's get this off here. All right, so that's basically what it looks like. And then you'll have some extra that will overhang this piece. And you'll just trim that off with the scissors. And if you're making a bunch of cards, you can actually save these little pieces you trim off. You know, if you're using this film strip, and you can use them for other cards. We'll just go with this. So that's what your piece will look like. And then we're ready to put our card together. So let's put that to the side. So I just have a piece of white cardstock for the base of the card. And then my black cardstock is 3 3/4 by 5. So that's what this piece is. And so you're basically going to layer these pieces on here. And let's add our little film strip on here down on the bottom. So that's what the basic design looks like. So let's go ahead and adhere these. So I'm always looking for ways to use up my scrap papers. Let's see. I want to make sure they're lined up correctly. Let's adhere this bottom one. So you're just leaving a little bit of black cardstock showing through, you know, between each piece. And so that just really, I don't know, just really brings out, you know, the kind of accents the pieces when you do that. All right, so that is our design. And then we'll just add this right away to our card base. My hands are all sticky. All right, so that's what our layout looks like. And now we're ready to just decorate it. So I'm gonna grab these other pieces. Let's put these over here. So I have the little bucket stamped in the yellow and in the red. So we're just gonna adhere these pieces together. I already cut off the top, the red popcorn. I cut that off so that I could just use the bucket. And then we'll decorate this little guy. And that's that. And then I'll quickly show you guys the other cards that I created. So like I said, some of them are already out on my blog and on YouTube and Facebook. So you probably saw those if you watched my Wednesday video. All right, let's flip this little guy over, add our dimensionals, and we'll finish up this card. And we just need 2 more. We'll take it from this side, I guess. I like to just put a little dimensional across the shoes, just so they stay on. All right, where's another dimensional? There it is. All right, so now we'll add this and our little popcorn, and we'll be done. So this will just go here. And then I just added kind of a little popcorn piece off to the side here. So that is the 4th card. And like I said, they're pretty easy cards to put together. I didn't put anything on the inside of this one yet, I guess. But they're pretty easy cards to put together, and they're just really super cute. So, all right, so those are, these are the 4 different cards. I don't think I'll be able to get them all on the screen for you. But these are the 4 different cards. That was the same one that that I walked you through. So those are the ones. But I'm going to show you some of the other ones. So let's look at these. So these are the 4 that I put together for my Wednesday video. So I showed you how to create this diagonal design. So it's basically similar to this diagonal one that I put here, except for you use a smaller piece of cardstock. And then when you cut it in half, I didn't cut it from corner to corner. I just kind of cut it down about an inch, and made a diagonal cut. And then you have a little open space in the middle that you can use to stamp a greeting, like here. Or you can have that open space to add cardstock, designer paper in the center. So just some really fun and cute ways to use this particular bundle. So these are already out on my blog, and they are out on social media as well. But then I decided, I had so much fun putting those together, I decided that this was going to be my tutorial for the month. So every month I put together a tutorial that I give away free to people, just as a thank you when they place an order with me through Stampin' Up. So this is my tutorial for this month, for the month of August. And I have a variety of additional card ideas, just some fun ways to use this particular bundle for card making. So you'll actually get, with this tutorial, you'll actually get 14 different card ideas between the video that I did, for you guys today and the one that I did for you guys on Wednesday. So, all right, so those are the cards. Can't really get them all on the screen, but I hope that you guys enjoyed these card ideas. I hope that that they have inspired you to just kind of give this bundle a second look. Like I said, I wasn't really sure about this particular bundle, but boy, I had a lot of fun playing with it. And I agree. I was just reading the comments. I do agree. I don't know who said that, but I agree. This little popcorn guy kind of looks like SpongeBob. So, except for he's a popcorn guy, but you could actually make him into SpongeBob, I suppose, with a little creativity. So, all right, you guys. So, so those are the cards that I have to share with you today. I'll get these cards out on my blog with all the measurements that I walked you through during this video. So you'll be able to gather all those measurements there. And like I said, head on over there and check out the other card ideas that I have. And I think that's all I had for you today. I'm just so excited about this little bundle. Like I said, I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope you do too. So enjoy the rest of your day and have a great week. And I'll see you guys again next week. So take care, everybody.